Page 32, wow. This is a style of rock music, I reckon. They say heavy rock music. I don't know what the difference is, but okay. At the bottom of page 33, they talk about primary triads. So I want to just talk about that briefly here. A triad is a three-note chord. Tri means three. And we generally start with every other note in a key. If I use C major, I'm on a white keys. So it's going to be every other note, every other white key. Those are triads. Very common in our harmony. Every key has its own set of triads. For instance, in G major has one sharp, so you do that. Because when you get to the F, you got to play an F sharp. Like so. All the keys have their own set of triads that go with them and their key signature. Wow is in the key of B flat major, two flats. So those triads will be there. And then here, you got to include B flats and E flats. Those are the triads in B flat major. They all work the same way. All the key signatures work the same way. There are 7 total. Let's go back to C major. Because the 8, that's 1 again. So there's 7 different ones in a key. Each one is numbered. 1 through 7. 1. We don't start with 0. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 3 of those are what we call the primary triads, or the primary chords. Every key has 3 primary chords. It's the same numbers. It's the 1, the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5. 1, 4, and a 5. Those are the 3 primary chords in any key. We use them the most. They're used a lot. Here, 1, 4, 5. If I go to G major, 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remember, I have F sharp in G major. And it's a 4 chord. This is a 4 chord. A 4 chord or 4 triad. We call them chords, 4 chord. In G major, it's a 4 chord, but in C major, it's a 1 chord. See, so the number is according to whatever key you're in. In B flat major, like wow is in here, I gotta go up here. This is a 1 chord, then the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5 chord. So they're the primary chords in that key. And all the keys work the same way. Now, normally we don't play them in this arrangement all the time because that's too much moving around. We rearrange them so we're not moving around so much. Well, I'll talk about that later. I just want you to understand what the primary chords are, or what they call primary triads. Yeah. Let's go back to wow. I look it over. It's a little over a page long. It's going to be longer than that because there's a DCL coda on it, but it's about a little over a page of music to deal with. Treble and bass clef, at least to start. 2 flats in the key signature, I've already told you, it's a B flat major. So go ahead and do the scale in arpeggio for B flat major and G minor, because it has 2 flats also. And 4/4 time signature, I will take it one hand at a time and make sure I get the fingering and the rhythm and all. Because in rock music, as in a lot of music, you get what's known as syncopation. They haven't really talked about syncopation, I don't think. So we'll have to talk about that too. Syncopation is simply when you're throwing the rhythm off a little. It feels a little off. Edgy. Huh? All right. Okay, so at the beginning, we're here. 1. Remember the B flat and E flat is in the key signature. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. And that second measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and you think, I just don't get it. Well, take out that little tie temporarily and play all those notes. 1 and 2 and, because the first 8th note's on beat 1. The D is on the and of 1. Beat 2's in the middle of the D, and then the and of 2 is the C. So 1 and 2 and 3. When you get an idea of that, then you put the tie in, you just hang on to the note. 1 and 2 and 3. Now, what I hope you don't do is say something like, well, play it for me, let me hear it. That's a pet peeve of mine. I really hate that. I would rather you be able to take this music and figure it out and discover what it sounds like on your own and have the confidence that you played it correctly than to have to always wait for somebody else to play it for you first, because there's no guarantee they're playing it correctly first. So don't do any more of the video. Try and figure out this rhythm on your own first, and then come back to the video and let's go over it. That's what I would recommend. However, I let the cat out of the bag on the second measure. Let's go on to the measure 7. It's after the double bars. We're here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And again, take out the tie if you need to. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Like so, and then you just put the ties in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. And for the fingering, I use second finger on the F sharp because I like to keep my hand out here. You can use thumb if you want, but you got to come in because the thumb's a short finger. I don't like doing that. I stand here. That's okay. Personal preference. Do whatever your teacher tells you to do. And then for measure 9, you got to come up here. You have to lift up and move. We're basically going to do the same thing again up here. Measure 17. We're down here. 1 and 2 and. See here, there are no ties. Those are slurs here, but it's just a broken chord. Here, 1 and 2. Well, whatever. But look out on measure 22. You have 2 voices. You have the whole note. You're going to hold that down the whole measure, more or less. And then while you're holding it down, you're going to do the other voice, which is the 8th notes. 1 and 2. Yeah. Here. So you do them both. Hold that down as you do it. Hold that down. 1 and 2 and then you lift up. It's important. Left hand. Well, left hand's down here. They want a thumb. That's okay. And they're just corner notes. Okay. Measure what? 8. It's here. Okay, let me do that some more. Measure 17. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And it's a little tricky now, but when you put the hands together, the right hand will help the left hand in the rhythm-wise. So it'll make a little more sense when we put the hands together. Now let's go to the coda on page 33. It's here. 1 and 2 and 3, and then they want you to come up here. 1 and 2 and the same rhythm you've had. And then here, I don't want to go from measure 24 from here to measure 25 here. No. I want a thumb on that so I can prepare that. So it's 1 and 2 and then bring the thumb under here. That way I'm in position to go on. That's the last note, last measure. Those are G's. Whatever. So I'm recommending a thumb on the last note in measure 24. Here, so I can go on. Now once I have an idea of each hand, then I'll try and put the hands together, and I'll probably hesitate, but that's okay. It's here. See, the G comes in between beats 3 and 4. Again, 1 and 2 and 3. Weird because now you're going this. Second measure. 1 and 2 and. So they're opposite. Then they come back together on the 4th beat. So the first beat they're together, the 4th beat they're together, and in between it's nuts. 1 and 2, 3. Go down to measure 17. Let's put the hands together here. You can see between the stanzas how the notes line up. So they come together, they're played together at that time. At the beginning, it's here, measure 17. And then here, and here. So every time I played an E flat, I played the left hand. 2 notes down there for the last measure 22. Here. Okay. And then the coda is here. As you're playing measure 24, get the right hand up where it goes, so you're ready to go. So it's here. As I'm playing this, I'm going to get the right hand up here. And then here. It's the same rhythm. And the wow's on the end, and I use a 2-5 there, but you can use a 1-5 if you want. So you have to watch out the rhythm of the next to the last measure. Thumb. That's because we got 6 notes to cover and only 5 fingers, and this is one of the ways we do it. We use the thumb somewhere in there as our extra finger. We're not changing hand positions, we're just using the thumb to help us out. Here, that's all I'm doing. Because I don't want to use 4th finger, so I use the thumb instead. Here. We do that a lot. There's other ways of handling it when you need 6 notes and 5 fingers, but this is a good one. We do quite a bit. Now once I have the hands together, then I'll go back over it like just maybe a few measures at a time, 4, 5, 6 measures at a time, however it is, and work out the hesitations. So it's like from measure 1 through 6, I'll get rid of the hesitations. And then 7 through, it's the same thing, but you're an octave higher, so get rid of those hesitations. And then measure 17 and all, get rid of those hesitations. And then the coda, get rid of, just take it in chunks, take it in pieces. Don't always try and do the whole piece. That's a really inefficient way to practice, it really is. Now once I can play it slowly, no hesitations, then I add the articulation. We have accents and staccatos, and I'm flexing at the wrist on the staccato, short. This is accent and a staccato. Just boom, let the wrist collapse a little bit. Don't pound on it. So I add in the articulation. Then I add the dynamics, and that goes to the melody. Most of this is right hand. This just like your drums and your bass. String bass, if you have one, they're in the background, just boom, boom, just solid. So moderately loud, the accented note is going to be a loud note. This is kind of soft. You have to be careful when you're down here, because that'll get loud all by itself. So you have to be aware of that and maybe play super soft or something. We want this in the background. If you played them the same, it just overpowers it. Just keep it really out of the way. Now when you get to measure 9, you're loud here again. Measure 17, you're loud when the accent notes make those notes very loud. And then at the end, it ends up very loud. Now in the last measure, you have fortissimo, the very loud, and accents. I don't really agree with that on piano. You really don't need very loud and accents, because all an accent is going to do is make it louder, because a piano can't do a true accent. So in my opinion, just play those really loud and short, the staccatos. Just let the wrist collapse, just go down really quick and heavy. Just boom, just boom, just, yeah. But it's got to be a musical boom. Don't bang it. Now a little bit about the syncopation. Like in the second measure, we would expect maybe, or, so just a nice straight rhythm of some sort. But what we do is a, think, wait a minute, that throws it off. When you start playing on the ends, it throws it off. That's syncopation. So you have the syncopation going on in the right hand and a steady beat in the left hand until you get to measure 17. Now even the left hand is syncopated. That's syncopated, you know, because you're playing the second note too soon. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That would be straight, but we're not doing that. We're playing the second note too soon. So that's syncopated. Generally speaking, when you have syncopated notes, as far as interpreting goes, you'll accent the syncopated note just because it's syncopated. So in the left hand, in measure 17, there's no accents. But generally speaking, as for interpreting it, you would accent that second, the middle note. Just for interpreting it. But you have to be careful because you have to keep it in the background. It's the right hand we want. We're accenting there. That's interpretation. And then speed. Allegro, heavy rock. I understand the allegro part. That's kind of quick. The heavy rock, that gets us whatever you think. I think about where I've been going. It needs to be accurate. What can you do accurately? Now, at the end of measure 22, it says DC al coda. Well, DC means go back to the beginning. Don't ask questions, just go to the beginning. Okay. Al coda means go to the coda. Now, you have to find that coda sign. That's the circle with the crosshairs. Yeah. And you'll see that at the end of measure 6. There's a double bar there, and above it, the circle with the crosshairs. If they put in the words second time to coda, you don't need the words. You should just know that's what it means. When you get to that sign, you're immediately going to jump over to the coda on measure 23. The rhythm stays steady. You're just going from measure 6 to measure 23 instantly. Just boom, boom. And you only do it the second time. You're not going to do it the first time. If you did it the first time, you'd never be able to play the rest of the piece because the coda finishes it. Something like that. You don't have to take it that fast. You could go here. But to me, that's more of a moderate speed. And you want it a little faster than that? Okay.